My parents and I were driving back to my hometown. We'd moved 3 states away a few years ago and haven't been back since. My grandparents still live there and we were visiting them for Thanksgiving. After we arrived, I decided to revisit my old haunts. Walking down an alley that I used as a shortcut, I ran into my old best friend Dan. We were excited to see each other, yelling out and doing our secret handshake, catching up and cracking the same old "your mom" jokes. It was so cool to see him again after all the lame friends I had met in my new town. We hit the old arcade we always went to in the dying mall with only a few clothing stores still open. He kicked my ass in the old Mortal Kombat arcade just like usual, but could never beat me in a fair game of air hockey. We hit up every single old game. It was just as I'd never left. We left the arcade and headed to the bridge we used to hang out overlooking the river. We'd always sneak out and smoke joints here and crack beers. We spent hours catching up and talking about what was new in our lives and what's been happening since I moved. Dan still lived in the same house about a few blocks from me, but a lot of our other friends had moved away. It's unreal how time pulls even the closest friends apart in its powerful currents. Eventually, it started to get late, and I suggested we start walking home. "Nah, you go ahead," he said. "I'm going to hang out here for a while. There's someone I'm supposed to meet," he said solemnly. "Oh, you sure, man?" I asked. "Yeah, man, I'll see you again soon, hopefully." "All right, get up with me before I leave on Friday," I said. "See ya, man." I walked the rest of the way alone, wondering what that shift in tone was about. As I passed his house, I saw a "for sale" sign in the yard. It was odd that he didn't mention moving at all. It was quite late at this point, and my parents were probably pissed. When I got home, my parents glared at me, grilling me, and demanded to know where I was at such an hour. When I told them I was catching up with Dan, that I missed him and we lost track of time, their faces went from angry to concerned. They both looked at each other briefly. My dad knelt down and said, "Son, Dan committed suicide a couple months ago, bud." His parents said he jumped from the main bridge overlooking the river.